Hi, I'm George Pearson, and in my last Minecraft video we changed the grass and the dirt textures in here to give us more of this Mars type look. This time though, we'll move over here and we'll do something with this spruce tree here and also with that bamboo in the background. And towards the end of this video we'll take a look at the squid as well and actually change the coloration of the squid. Okay, let's get to it. If you missed any of my previous Minecraft videos, especially the last one where we set up the basic Mars coloration, here's one of the files from that, and also the video before that where we set up the basic files for doing these texture files. Take a look at those. There's a link for that in the description and also at the top of the comments as well. For this video we're going to be working with this texture here. This is the bamboo stalk, and these three, these are all for the spruce tree. These are the leaves for the spruce tree. This is the spruce tree log. That's the sides of the spruce tree. And if you cut the tree log, you get the inside or the top or the bottom, and that's the file for that. So we'll be working with all of these files in here, along with the squid file, which I'll pull up in just a little bit. Now the basic coloration concept over here, we did this with the dirt and the other files in the last video, was to open up the file right here, our texture file, and then add a color layer on top of that, and then blend the color layer into this, giving us this nice bright orange color. Now for the tree, I'm going to give these kind of a purplish or fuchsia color, so it's kind of a reddish tint instead of the orange stuff. And then we'll have some fun over here with the shape of the leaves. We'll start right here. Now on this one I simply copied over this color file here. I just copied this color layer over to this file. You just do it just like that. We're in Photoshop Elements right now. Just drag it over and there it is. I just go ahead and just get rid of that. We don't need that actually, since I've already done that. And then I change the color in here to just like kind of a nice purple color. That gives us our basic coloration for that log. Same thing in here for the sides of the spruce tree. There's the purple color. And I also brightened it up using a brightness control right here, so it's a bit brighter. So there's the coloration for that. And we'll do the exact same thing for the bamboo. Again, I use that same purple color and colorize the bamboo. So these three, I just pulled the exact same trick that we did last time for the ground and for the dirt. I just changed it to a purple color instead of the orange color. Now for the leaves, we'll do something a little bit different on the leaves. Let me just do this from the beginning here. I'll get rid of that. Now the way the leaves work is that the leaves are created, the coloration is created by a color map, and then this simply puts in the values for the color map. Where you see the little checkerboard pattern in here, this is just transparency. So wherever it's gray is going to be in greens, and the values of the greens are determined by the value of the gray, and the little checkerboard pattern, that's clear. Now what we do here is we're going to leave the green color, but we're going to change the look of these leaves to something kind of weird and sci-fi by making the corners transparent. First though, on all of these things, take your background layer and make a copy of that and then hide that, because I want to be able to go back to my original in the future if I want to, make it real easy. Also on these, whenever I'm working on my different textures in here, I'm working in one folder. Let me show you that real quickly. Here's my working folder for working on textures. And the one I have listed as old, this just contains the asset. There it is, inside the assets, of course, inside of Minecraft. There's the textures right down there. And all of the blocks up here and the leaves are from the folder named block right in here. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to the leaves in here. What I want to do is just to be able to make the outside transparent in a nice kind of a circular pattern. Easy to do. I'm going to go over here to my marquee tool. I'll grab the circular marquee tool or elliptical marquee tool, depends upon your program. I have feathering set at 0, and then I'll just pull this from the top left corner down to the bottom right corner, and that should give me a basically circular selection like that. And this is selecting the inside and not the outside, so we need to reverse this selection. And in Photoshop Elements, that's up here under Select and Inverse. Again, the place where you'll find that Depends upon the program you're using, but they'll all have something along those lines. Now let's just grab the eraser tool. Keep in mind these are real small files. It's 16 by 16, so you need a real small eraser brush. I have mine set at 4. And I'm just going to erase everything in those corners. There we go. Just erase that out real nice. Make sure it's really fully erased. There we go. And so we're leaving kind of a circular thing in here. And it's working around the edges a bit more here. Make sure everything is completely erased. So it's kind of a circular effect. And that'll give us a strange looking sci-fi tree. Just make sure you get it completely erased. If there's any coloration at all in there, you're going to have some color. We want this to be completely clear around the edge. Okay, there's that one. That's taken care of. So all of our colors are taken care of. Let's now save these files. File save. And I have these all saved as Photoshop files, PSD file format. Let's just make sure each one is saved. Just do it real fast. File save. There we go. And save. We now need to save these back to their PNG file format. In Photoshop Elements, that's down here, Save for Web. Depending upon your program, it could be a Save As. We're saving it as PNG 8 and with transparency on. Choose Save. Make sure you're in the right folder, which is your textures and then block right in here, and choose Save. It should ask you to replace the existing file, and that's correct. There we go. So that one is saved. Let's minimize that. We'll go through and grab these 3 very quickly now. Save for Web. Save and replace. There we are. Then do the log file here. Same thing. Save for Web to that PNG file format and replace. And minimize that. And then finally the top of the log file, Save for Web. And save. Save and replace. We've already done this file, so that doesn't matter. While we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at that squid. Let me show you where the squid file is located. There's the folder for the textures. There's the block right there, and go back one step is the textures. The squid is located down here where it says entity. Let's open this one up, and you'll find the squid down here in the regular files. Now some of these have additional images in here. If there are color changes, things like that. If it's just one file, then it's just right down here, and one you want is right there, squid.png. You may open this one up, bring it in. There we go. It's a real small file, as you can see, like that. That's already my colorized version, but it's a real small file. Now I've already opened this one up and I saved it as a Photoshop file, so I have that part done. And we bring that up right there. So there is the file. Just a basic PNG file again, PNG 8. It's a lot bigger, as you can see, and we're seeing the top and bottom and all the sides and the tentacles are all with all of these different parts. So because of this, we can come in and actually just change the coloration on this. Now whenever I do a coloration or anything like that, as we saw with the leaves, I like to make a copy of the background. Again, I've already saved this as a PSD or Photoshop file. So let's make a copy of that by dragging it up to my New Layer button right here. Let's hide the original. That's just a safety, just in case. Let's now colorize this. An easy way to do a colorizing in Photoshop Elements is to use an adjustment layer, hue saturation. There we go. Now you can do this again in any good graphics program, image program. You can change the colors and they'll have something like the hue saturation color to do that. So just grab the hue and let's find a nice brown coloration in here someplace. I'll bring my saturation up. Kind of a nice cartoony look in here. Now I'm choosing brown on this just because in H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, he had his Martians were kind of squid-like creatures, and he describes them as looking like brown leather. So I'm going with that as my concept in here. Now notice when I did this, it also changed the color of the mouth up there. We can fix that easy. Just close this down. That is done. Now in Photoshop Elements, when you do this adjustment layer, you get a layer mask over here. Anything that's white will allow the filter to be applied onto the layer underneath, which is our squid layer. Anything that's black will hide the effect. So all I have to do is go over here, grab my black pencil, and then just come in and paint black on that layer mask right on the ones I don't want to have changed. And then we'll see the original color in there, and then the changed color any place else outside. So you can see there's that black dot right up there on the layer mask. So that's the original coloration, and then here's our nice brown coloration. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll do a file save on that one. And then same thing again, save for web. I'm still saving it as a PNG 8 with transparency. Choose save. Make sure you're in the right folder. Let's back up one step. That's the entity folder right there. And choose save and replace. If you don't see replace, then you're in the wrong location. Okay, we've now replaced all of those textures. Let's go ahead and get this thing set up in a new texture map. Okay, there's our file, and there's Minecraft in the background. And here's the textures folder that we're working inside of. There's entity and there's the block. I'm just going to back up to my old folder right here. See, again, here's the resource pack. This is where I always do my construction. And inside of old is where I have that assets folder. All you need to do here, again, I'm working on Windows, is to right drag the assets folder over here, back one step, and copy into the resource pack location. As soon as that's copied, we can then zip that together with our 2 additional necessary files, and then copy that over into the resource pack location, and we'll be all set at that point to take a look at our new texture pack. I'm going to just pause the video. Okay, that's copied over. Let's now go back to the resource pack, and there's the assets folder we just copied from our working folder right there. So we need this file. I'll hold the control key down. We need the pack.mc meta file and the pack.png icon file. So those 3 files. Again, if you don't know how to get to this point in here, take a look at my earlier video on how to create a resource pack, and it explains this whole thing in there. Okay, I'll right click, go to 7-zip, and add to archive. And I'll give this one a name. I'll call it Mars Textures 2. Leave everything else at the defaults, choose OK, and I'll let this combine this all into that zip file. This goes pretty fast, but I'll go ahead and pause the video for a second anyway and let this thing finish off screen. And there it is, there's the Mars textures. Okay, now let's go back to Minecraft, go into Options, and open up Resource Packs, and open Resource Pack folder right down there. Okay, there's the Resource Packs folder, and here's my working folder. There's our new texture pack. I'll just right mouse drag this over here and copy, and there's my new texture pack right there, Mars Textures 2. Okay, just get this out of the way, get that out of the way. Click on Done, click on Done, go back into Options again, back into Resource Packs, and there's the new texture pack right there. Okay, so click on that, bring that in. It should go to the top of the stack over here. I'm going to put these back over to the left-hand side again. So there's the new one right here we just made. Click on Done. We'll launch the game with that resource pack, the one on top on the right-hand side. And let's take a look and see what we've done in here. Click on Done one more time, and then back to game. And there we go. There's our kind of weird, strange, fuchsia-colored trees. Notice we have these weird, round leaf bunches up here now. Kind of strange circular things, real kind of sci-fi look on that. That worked out nicely. And then over here, there's the bamboo with the color change that we did on the stalk, and we left the leaves alone, so it has green tops up there and these strange colorations. So I have much more of a weird sci-fi landscape now in here with these few changes. I kind of like these round leaves. Those are really kind of weird. Okay, now I'm going to pause the video just for a second, and I'm going to look around and find a squid. As soon as I find a squid, we'll take a look at that as well. Okay, there's some squid hanging around down in here to see if one of these guys surfaces. Just go over here. I see one right over there. There we go. And there's our nice brown coloration for the squid. So that's all taken care of as well. Real nice, clean job on that. So there we go. There's our kind of a strange Martian landscape. Our red trees with round leaf bunches up there. And our Mars coloration. And we also have our brown Martian squids. Now if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and of course share. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and see everything else that I've been working on. And you can also support my channel through Patreon, and there's a link for that in the description. There's a squid trying to get into my house over there. Kind of odd thing to do. Okay, there you go.